Hi, hello. How's it going, you guys? Jason Carter here. Thank you for watching Jason Unleashed. How is it going? How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you so much for watching. Can't even talk today. It's been one of those mornings, but I'm glad to be here with you guys now. Yeah, great show. Winner of season 12 of RuPaul's Drag Race, Jaida Essence Hall is on the show today, and it's been Instinct Magazine. It's been a process to get her on the show. You know, she's booked and busy. Hey, Brendan, she's booked and busy, but that's okay because she's here. We're going to talk about it all. We're going to gather about it all. We're going to talk about everything that you want to know about. We're going to relive the splendor of season 12 of RuPaul's Drag Race in addition to season 13 and everything that she's been doing in her reign since winning the title of America's Next Drag Superstar. So I'm excited. I'm excited because I'm a huge fan. You guys know, even though being on the show, I still watch the show as a fan, right? Because we shoot it so far in advance, and by the time it airs, I forget everything that we've done. One and two, it's nice to see the magic that is television. Like he says, "Zip my pants. My pants are zipped. They're buttons." Anyways, but Jaida just stepped into the room. Let's go live with this drag superstar and get it poppin' and talk. Most compelling drag race winners in drag history. Huge fan of you guys are too. And let's catch up and see what's going on. Jaida comes on Unleashed in drag. I love it.
Hey, let me slide this back some. So I can get a little space. Oh, there we go. Okay.
You look ravishing per usual.
Thank
Welcome to Jason
you.
Unleashed. How are you?
I'm good. I just had to grab a book. It's like 12:05 here, but I needed some wine because this is gonna be cute.
Listen, you can have whatever you want. Thank you so much for being here. I'm loving this look. I'm loving you. How is life? How are things?
Life is amazing right now. It's amazing depending, but I mean, considering everything that's happening in the world right now, but I know that I'm really lucky and I'm really blessed that I've been able to work. I've been able to even like slightly travel to do like little gigs, but those have been really cute, safe gigs, and it's been really fun. So
I'm here for that.
How are you?
Same, hanging out now in Miami on the East Coast, a whole new world. So
literally,
literally. But I'm good. Oh, congrats! First of all, I haven't had a chance to talk to you since we're on set together like over a year ago.
Yeah. It's crazy you've been doing the show for so long. And it's like to see you and like now have this moment with you, aside from just like drooling over you on television. It's like not only is he the beauty, but the brains too.
You know what? Thank you. I received that. Congratulations on everything. Being America's next drag superstar in quarantine. What has that been like? How has this journey changed your life since winning the show?
Well, you know what the thing is that social media, the biggest thing is that I've learned is that social media is major. I always use social media because I thought it was cute to like upload your little pictures, maybe get a couple of 2 likes or something like that. But I've learned that especially winning Drag Race, I've learned the power of social media, because like even doing these live, the way you've been doing your lives, and I started to do my live before, but winning the show, I feel like had it not been for social media, the potato of what winning the show is, I would have felt very empty. I would have felt very hungry for more. But although this year my reign is almost up, which has been the shortest reign ever, because of everybody that's out there in the world that's been supporting me through social media, through everything I've been doing, I kind of feel like I've not missed much. Even though I know that there's a lot that I have missed, I feel like I've not missed much.
Well, it's interesting because normally after a queen wins, there's a tour, there's Work the World, there's all these things that have come to a complete stop. But I will say this though, the connection that you are able to have with people through social media is 24 hours, right? And you're able to have more of an experience with your fans because it's on your time and in a space that allows you to really be authentic versus, it's great to be at a club, it's great to be on stage, but to have that connection I think is even more special.
And one of the things that like I always assume that like I don't know what because it's not just because it's television, because we still do the work, but because of the competitors that I knew that I was competing with, I'm like, there's no telling what will happen. You know what I mean? Like, you could win, you could lose. That's just being honest, because that's what happens in competitions. But I felt like if I win or whatever, it would be great to be on the road, because if people, what they might not see of you on television, they can see from you in person, because I'm a very like hands-on in-person type of person, which is why I thought social media was kind of crazy. I'm like, it doesn't really make sense to do all this over line. I don't see how you can build a connection with people. I don't get how people find people on social media. And literally me doing everything that I've done this year on my reign, it's like people have gotten to know me so personally. And it's not even just about like Drag Race that they've known me. It's more about getting to know who I am as a person generally. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
I think social media, because of the way social media works, it's like, yeah, people know me from the show, but they get to see who you are more than going on the road and be like, oh, she's the queen from Drag Race. Look at her on the stage. This is what we've seen. Good, she's bringing looks we've seen on the show. We love those. Or, wow, she's a great performer. But through social media, they get to see the heart.
I could not agree more, 100%. I think in 2020, look, Jaida, they're saying your reign is eternal. Your reign will never end.
Thanks, y'all. Hope y'all doing good.
And the world is waiting for you. I would say, though, in 2020, though, especially, the conversation of Blackness and racism, and Black queens and I've seen it with my own two eyes, have gotten the short end of the stick when it comes to this industry, and it's sad, because some of the most every queen is talented in their own right, but some of the most compelling, dynamic, talented, otherworldly, the list goes on and on for how I can describe these people, are women of color, are Black queens. With everything
and it's not even a shady thing. It's it's just like when people say, like, sometimes when you're Black, you have to do double the work, and it's no shade to any other queens, because I still love a bitch, whether you on the stage and you could walk me to seduction. You know what I mean? Like, it's not about, it's about presence on stage. And I think that, like, when you see Black queens, they give you such a presence on stage, especially because a lot of times, a lot of y'all that's watching, y'all know drag through Drag Race. Now, I know drag through working at the bars. And at the bars, when you are a Black queen, you cannot simply come out to the show and just
no half-stepping.
give a look.
No half-stepping. Right.
There is no just giving a look, because then you don't make money. And then I think the one thing that that kind of frustrates a lot of girls who do the show, and a lot of Black queens out there, is that when you leave the world and you go from the show to the world, you expect that now I get a moment to breathe and be myself, and I don't have to. And it's still kind of shady, because you still go out to the shows and they still expect you to be this bucking entertainer and say you were terrible if you're not, in the same breath, not appreciate what you do. If it makes sense. It's kind of like a confusing paradox. It's like you give them what they're expecting, and it's still not enough for them to, like,
it's never enough. Right.
And so thankfully this year I've noticed that a lot of people have been super supportive to me, and a lot of the other Black queens from our season, and generally of starting to appreciate a lot of the other Black queens more. So thank y'all for doing that. That's the real tea. And I don't know, it confuses me sometimes, because I'm a Black person, and like one time Shay said this when she was at in Chicago, and she said, I don't want to have this conversation, because it's not for me to tell y'all what to do to change this, because I've been a victim of me performing and giving my life and giving that on stage. I can't tell you what to do. If eventually at this point, it's up to people who watch the show and who are fans of the show to decide, like, hey, these girls are talented, they're amazing, they deserve the same respect as any other queen that comes from the show, whether she's a Black queen and all she can do is serve looks. If that's all she can do, y'all stand girls that don't do nothing but serve looks too, so they don't happen to be Black. So just spread the damn love around. It's that simple.
It's that simple. And I'm so glad you articulated and elucidated that point, because you hit on the fact that people of color, be it Black, Filipino, Asian, whomever, we have to perform exponentially more and at a level
much work
beyond our white counterparts. It's the truth. And people, and no matter how people want to be offended by saying that, it's the fucking truth. So you are a living example, though, of someone who really appreciated their reign. I saw an interview with you and a friend where you cried about about being able to be on the show and have pretty dresses and and how you just being on Drag Race was a win for everyone in your town that felt that they didn't have shit, that wanted to be something else. And that resonated with me so deeply. And I think that's one of the reasons why people loved you on season 12, was because you weren't trying to be like, you came in, you were a silent killer. You came in towards the end like, well, Jada, look over there, Jada's killing it, right? And so but when you got on the show, what was the most surprising thing that you experienced? Because you've watched for years and everyone says, oh, when I get on Drag Race, it's going to be this, it's going to be that. But it's never that. For you, what was like I
feel like the biggest thing was when I walked in, there were a couple girls in the room that I knew, and I'm like, oh God, they are sickening. And I feel like that the first moment you walk through the door is the moment when you're like, oh, this is not what I expected. Because all my life, you know, when you're young and you're cocky and you think you know everything about the world, I'm like, girl, if I ever get on Drag Race, I better be like, it better be real competition. Every girl better be slaying. I hope that it's hard for me to win if I win or whatever. And I walked in and I saw the girls. I'm like, oh my God, bitch, you asked for it, and that's exactly what you're gonna get today. So it was a little. That to me was in itself was a shock that like you walk in and I'm like, the caliber of drag this season is sickening. And then when we walked in the room after we did our first episode and we came in and the other girls were there, I was like, shit, this is gonna be a hard season of Drag Race. But I feel like anything worth doing, whether it's hard or not, you want a challenge. And so to say you won Drag Race on a season full of sickening queens, that's iconic.
That iconic. Look, even if the queen, to say you won Drag Race in general, because the fans see it as it's a TV show, right? And there's so much that goes into it that they don't even know. The mental anguish, the sleepless nights, the constant worry of like, how am I going to step up my drag? How am I going to outdo myself? How am I going to be exponentially that much more dynamic for the judges? Because it's a competition. It's a competition.
And it's hard too, because which I think a lot of sometimes fans don't get is that when you get there, people imagine this like sewing realm of, okay, well, you could have done this when you had downtime. You should have sewn. Girl, that is Drag Race is literally a race. It is a nonstop moving machine. So like the things that we have, most of those things we already brought. So when the judges give you critiques, it's even harder to step up to that plate, because it's like, well, okay, if y'all hate what I brought 17 of these in my luggage, so now where are we going from here? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's very that. But it also works on like challenging how quick you think and challenges your drag, and also pushes you, because if you brought something to the show, like even when we did our final runway where I wear the black and gold gown with the cape, that was just something that I brought just in case they were like, well, we need XYZ look. And the two looks that I brought, I was like, oh, these are cute, but what if I have to lip sync? What if the judges think that this is just like, oh, this was just the easy way out? Or and so I was like, well, I'm just gonna wear something I feel comfortable in, something I feel beautiful in, and improvise on the spot there.
Right.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy.
When the camera stopped rolling, was there ever a moment where you broke down and thought like, I can't do this. Like, this is too much. It's too much. And I mean, was that every night?
I don't think it was every night. I think it was the first episode when we had the fight. That day was extremely, extremely hard for me. And the main reason why it was hard was just because when I can't, like, drag is so personal. And a lot of times, especially when you work the shows and it's not coming from Drag Race, you're doing drag alone. Like, you could work a week and not work with any other girls in the city that you've seen the last week. You know what I mean? So going to Drag Race, like every day you work with these different girls and you have to collaborate with girls, where drag is like, I feel like wearing this and I feel like doing this on the stage because I think this is sickening. And when we had to do the group work, it was like, we have to work together as a group. And I've always had like a real bad anxiety of working with groups, because when I was younger, people did not like me because I was like this young gay boy at school, and I was like super feminine. Even then, like thankfully I had like 5 brothers, and my brothers have always been like a champion for me. And my parents, even though I didn't come out when I was younger, they already knew. Like, I'm that kind of girl where you just know what, like, it's in a closet, but the closet got a glass door kind of vibe. And like, they all knew, but they all like still embraced me and made me feel like whatever it is in the world that I want to do, I can do it. And so I would still just be myself, and people would not like it. So when I would work in groups, they were like, oh, this different person obviously does not know what they're talking about, or this person. And you get the sense of like, if I speak up, maybe I'm doing too much or whatever. Right. And I wanted to be a part of the group. I wanted to be like, I wanted to be in. I'm like, so while we're working, I'm like, well, let's just do something kind of cute and easy that we can all work and do. And as the time was going on, it was very like what happened with Tamisha. As the time was going on, I'm like, girl, we are running out of time. And now we have 10 minutes and y'all are talking about walking and blocking. And when in the beginning, I said we should do something easy. And it was like kind of like I felt like I was getting overlooked. And it made me feel like, again, like when I was in school and I was a kid. And that day I was like, I went home and I was like, I wrote I had a journal that I wrote for the show. And every day I wrote in, and I'm like, today is the hardest day that I've ever had here since I've been here. When it was only like 3 days, me being very dramatic. Like, me being a 13-year-old throwing myself on the bed at the end of the day crying. Like, this is the worst day that I've had here. I wish I would have never come. This is crazy. And I was really, and that's how I really felt, because I was like, oh my God, this is going to be like elementary school, kind of a bully situation all over again. And then that was just me being dramatic. And the next day I came back and it was completely not that. You know what I mean? It was like the girls, we all got together and they were like, well, I'm sorry, whatever. It was just high stress. And like, I get it. And so it taught me a little bit of something about like, to move past hurt and stuff a little bit. Not because I'm like, that's not counseling. You know what I mean? But like, it taught me to move a little bit past like previous pains and stuff that I've had. So I don't even know how we got to this point in this conversation. No, I done dragged y'all ass along for a long ride.
No, you did it. You did. That's incredible, because actually it's very helpful to people watching that maybe struggle, that get triggered as well, especially when you're in a situation that's about, the stakes are high. I mean, hello, it's the fucking Olympics of drag. There's $100,000 and then thousands of dollars potentially available to when you win. There's a lot at stake, right? People give up their lives to come on this show, and their lives are changed forever after the show.
And all of their coin.
All their coins. So it makes sense. But okay, so all right, so you win. One of the best finales ever.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
No, it was good. Definitely World of Wonder and VH1 fucking killed it. I was so jealous. I was like, where's the picker? And why are we not there?
Look, literally, I said, something is missing. Something is missing. And it was obviously y'all.
It was every season. But every season. But I will say, is there pressure now? What's the pressure you feel now, still being America's Next Drag Superstar? Because you hear like Sasha Velour, Bob the Drag Queen, all these queens have talked about like after they win, what like the good and the bad. What has the pressure been like for you now? Like, what have been the struggles now, if there's any?
I think the struggle, and I sometimes I quote back because I'm very a quoter type of girl, and sometimes it's very loosely quoting too. So don't sit here and say it's church, y'all. It's not the Bible. But Evie was talking about like when she did the World of Wonder thing, how she like feels this pressure to constantly be herself. Like people will come after her and say like, she's not weird enough. Yeah. And she's not odd enough, when in fact that's who she is. And like, it's like you can't expect somebody to be something of whatever. Like, you have to learn to appreciate people for who they are and where they are and what they're giving. Now, if a bitch is giving you late, then she's giving you late. Now, there's no excuse for doing late, but like, you can't expect somebody to like level up and not evolve or not change what they do. And so sometimes I do feel like I have a battle with myself of like, am I still giving the audience exactly what they want? But then also, am I giving myself what I want? Because to me, drag has always been like, yeah, it's a personal thing, but at the same time, it's personal, but it's about the audience. And like, people, like there is no reason you wouldn't be a drag queen. I mean, you could have fun dressing up, and you can do whatever you want to, but there's no working in gigs and shows and doing all of that if there is no audience who appreciates what you're giving.
So smart.
So I try to make sure that I'm being myself as much as I can, and then also still giving the audience what they deserve, not what they want or need, but what they deserve, which is a great like example for themselves in the world. And so that, I feel like that is kind of the struggle of like trying to remain myself, but also I know that I'm changing, that my drag is changing and evolving the same way we all do every day. And so it's like a thing of me balancing learning that and appreciating myself, because I feel like before Drag Race, you are one person. And then after you do Drag Race and you open yourself up to the whole entire world, you are somebody else. You can still be who you are, but the set of rules that the world wants to put on you, the audience is broader, and there's a lot more expected of you. And I just don't want to ever not give that to my fans. Also myself, I want to make sure I'm happy, but I don't also ever want to let down people who love drag. I don't want to let them down.
That's a very human thing to say. And getting back to what you said about the audience, you do it for the audience. The reason why Wendy Williams and Oprah and all these women and all these people who have been successful for a long time and have had the same struggles you've had that are wanting to evolve is because they knew who their audience is, and why and their love of what they do is for their audience. Mariah Carey talks about her Lamley and that everything she does is for the fans. That's why people like that have had what you are going to have, and that's longevity. Because you realize that I love doing drag, you love doing drag, because it feels good to your soul. It's who you are. You're passionate, but you also realize it's a gift to give away. And I mean, you saying that is so indicative as to why you're such a superstar, because you get it. And not a lot of people, it's not about you, it's about your audience. And also being able to go within and say, what fulfills me though? Like, I can't constantly give of myself and not give back. Is also a sign of the growth that you've had. I think your drag on your social media alone, and I follow you, I watch everything you do. Your drag has absolutely, I mean, it was incredible before, but it has skyrocketed to a level that's like, wow, she has arrived. So you absolutely have evolved, without a doubt.
And it's like, and that's the one thing that I like when I did Drag Race, before I left, when I was leaving the plane, I'm like, the one thing that I hope is that when I do Drag Race, I will remain the same person. Because I feel like, and that was like to me was very important, because I know I've known girls who've made the show and they're not horrible people, but you can tell like the energy is like,
off.
That's not when we used to be at the bar together. That was not you.
100%.
You know what I mean? And
so I'm like,
I want to still remain myself, even if my drag aesthetically might evolve and things might change. The heart of the machine should still be the same. You know what I mean? Like, you could add a bumper sticker on the back of your car and all that stuff, but you still want the engine to run the same. You know what I mean? You still want a quality car at the end of the day.
Girl, you are wise beyond your years, for sure. The future, though. So here we are. Your official reign is coming to an end in a couple of months, and you know, normally Drag Race girls or the winners have a single. They do a music video. All this, this, and that. It seems like you're doing something different. You're forging your own path. What does that look like?
I really want to. First of all, I'm not a singer, so y'all already know that. Y'all heard me going, oh, and they sweetened the track. So, maybe I will do a single. Maybe I still might do a single just for shits and giggles, mama. But I really want the legacy of my reign to. I don't want it to be superficial. Like, I don't want to be necessarily like, if I do music, it'll be like because it's a fun thing for me. But it's not like I want to do music because I'm like, this is what is going to bring me more money and the audience is going to love this, and give them some shitty music because I know I can't sing. You know what I mean? Like, not that kind of, if you get something, it's going to be a clap your hands, me on the beat, talking on the track kind of vibe. But like, I want my legacy and to be about, like I said before, I said it in another interview, but I feel like it's about, like they say, it's about what you do that people remember, and not what you not, and it's about who you are that they remember, and not what you did. So like, I don't want it to be where people remember me like, oh, that was a good song. People can forget a song. It could be a cute track, and that happens with music. But I want people to remember like the heart of who I am. So I've been trying to do like a lot of stuff where it's like even DragCon. I'm so sad that I didn't get to do DragCon, because I had the greatest idea for DragCon, and it was so fun, and it would have included like somebody who really needed it. I just want my legacy to be about the heart, and so I missed the opportunity. I'm still gonna do it, y'all, but I just really want everything that I do to be about like what's true to me, and the audience sees that it's true to me, so then that they can pick something up from that and like always hold on to you. Like I just feel like the people that made the biggest impact to me in my life have always been people who have seemed like they are 150% authentic to who they are. And even when I want to start my YouTube very soon and do all that stuff, but I still want to do stuff that's just true to me. Like some people like, well, you should do beauty. I'm like, I like makeup and stuff like that, but that's not all of who I am. Like I want to do some stuff where I'm doing stupid sketch stuff, where it's just like, okay, I'm not the most serious person all the time. So I just want to do like Saturday Night Live kind of sketch stuff, where like these stupid ideas that I have and I'm at home laughing to myself and everybody is like, I don't get it. But I know people in the world will get it. I want to do some that kind of stuff, and just stuff that makes me happy, that I know the audience will love and appreciate.
Well, I think we can for sure see you on a sketch comedy show. I'm surprised, to be honest. I mean, of course, COVID permitting, I'm surprised we haven't already, because you have like, look at Bob, Shangela, Eureka, the list goes on and on of queens that have been able to pivot and go into different areas of entertainment, which I mean, you were so good in all of your challenges. And I think it was surprising, because surprising in the sense that you don't know what queen's gonna pop, right? You never know, because like competition makes you pull out things in yourself, good and bad, that you never know were there, and that includes talents. So acting's definitely in the cards for you,
I'm hoping so, because that first time we did acting on the show, it was really bad for me. The Gay's Anatomy, and it wasn't really that it was so bad. It was just that like I struggled with not even with the lines, because I memorized the entire script. Like I knew I don't know if you watched the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reunion, of course, and like they showed Will going on other people's lines. That's how well I knew the script. But then when it came to my lines, and I was like, okay, this is acting. I'm from Milwaukee, so this is acting. Acting is, we're gonna come out, you're gonna deliver the lines one straight time, and that's it. And they're like, okay, go again. And I don't know if it was that it was bad. I don't even remember if it was bad. I just remember, okay, again. And I was like, oh, I didn't deliver. Oh my God. So then it just kept a trip. But now that I've seen how it is, I'm like, oh girl, okay.
You got this.
Girl, you just give it your best, and you keep giving it your best. And if it doesn't work out, they'll take one of them that did work. You know,
right? Hey, they can edit. Would you go back and do an all winners season, or are you like, eh?
Are you officially asking me? I always dodge around this, but y'all, I determined that I would. Like, people have asked me, like, would I go and do All Stars? And All Stars or the All Winner season, like if they asked me to do it, I'm like, I kind of feel like I would, but this time I would go back and it would be like, I've done the real serious, let's go compete and win thing. And this time I would just go back and make good TV. I'm telling you, it'll be like, Jaida, you've won this week, and they're like, who do you think should go home? And I'm standing there with the lipstick and my titty, and I'm like, you know what? Jason, this week you have just really been a pain to every single person here in the workroom. You've been stressing me out. You've been stressing out the other girls. And quite frankly, I don't think you have what it takes to make the cut. Lipstick pulls out, and it's like, Trixie.
That would be the gag. That would make every blog. That would make the Today Show. You know what I'm saying? Like that would be on like Good Morning America last night on RuPaul's Drag Race. The cliffhanger to end all cliffhangers.
The cliffhanger. You know that if I did that, that would be the first time that they would wait till the next week to do the elimination. They would be like, to be continued, and everybody's like, what happened?
Ru would be like, what? just happened, Michelle? And then they would pan to every judge. Michelle would be like, Ross would be like,
I feel like Michelle would probably, I would be scared because Michelle would either live that it was funny or she would be like, you really want to play with our time?
Yeah, for sure. Well, Jaida, look, I know you got to go. You have tons of interviews today. It has been so fun having you on Jason Unleashed. You know, girl, I have officially adopted myself into the Essence Hall family. So
yes! We can make it official here. You officially 100% are. Yes.
Jason Essence Hall.
What? Yes, Jason Essence Hall. Why am I doing this like I'm on Black Panther or something? I'm like,
no, that's Showgirls. That's Showgirls.
Superstar.
All right, boo. You have a good day. Love
you too. Thank you for having me.
Of course.
Bye, y'all. Bye.